Good afternoon, on what is a cool, grey and cloudy day. It is Wednesday the 7th of February and I'm back in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a box to unbox the enormous and final release from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. This is the Deck of Many Things. Now the Deck of Many Things is an artifact in Dungeons & Dragons that goes all the way back to essentially the Dungeon Master's Guide for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 1st edition, and famously it was an artifact which when found you could draw cards from it for random effects. You know, it gains fabulous abilities, and but you could also lose abilities and gain curses and stuff like that. And infamously, you know, there was a card in there that would force you to change your gender, which back in the 1979, 1980, that was seen as a weird thing. So, how times have changed, you know, obviously for the better. So, the interesting thing about the Deck of Many Things, of all the artifacts and magical items in Dungeons and Dragons, I think it's the one artifact that publishers keep coming back to again and again. There have been several publishers who have done their own little decks of, basic decks of many things, and they have gone on to be, if not necessarily highly collectible, very expensive to obtain subsequently. So, which is why I grabbed this whilst it came out. So, the Deck of Many Things is an infamous Dungeons & Dragons magical item, whose effects are as spectacular as they are unpredictable. Within the set, you'll find the Book of Many Things, which illuminates the deck's mysteries and provides everything you need to see and use in the deck in your campaign. The book includes advice, adventure locations, new monsters for Dungeon Masters, as well as the character options, magic items, and organisations for players, all inspired by the deck. This set also includes lavishly illustrated cards for the Deck of Many Things, including additional cards that triple the deck's size, so you can build the perfect deck for your campaign. That's a really nice idea, the fact that, you know, you can adjust the deck to what you want its effects to be in your campaign. And a company reference guide shows you how to use the cards as a traditional Oracle deck or to create a D&D adventures inspired by the cards. This set includes Deck of Many Things, a 192-page hardcover book for players and Dungeon Masters inspired by the Deck of Many Things. The Deck of Many Things expanded to 66 unique cards, an 80-page hardcover card reference guide showcasing each card in the expanded deck, what you saw in the 5th edition, Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, my first grumble, I'm going to say basic grumble is this. Literally, you have to tear this open to use it. You know, this is a premium product. So, I'm going to tear my way into it quite carefully, because and it sort of comes away. I have torn the strip a bit, but okay. So, you open up the box, and what you've got inside, I'll show you, it's a bit slidey, it's that, I'll show you that, so I'm going to slide those two out to you. This, that's the Book of Many Things. It basically echoes the cover of the box, and then you have put that there. Anything else in there? No, just cardboard. You have the actual Deck of Many Things. So let's have a look at the Book of Many Things first. This is a very attractive looking book. Again, front and back cover. Front cover certainly is the same as the front cover for the box itself. And then you open up. You have the same character as on there. There we go. Basically, you see there in another guise. With, you know, he's basically, there's the goblin creature with the deck, and then we're straight into the first of the cards with the Fool, and talking about its history, and actually, great. You know, that's a really nice touch. I actually really enjoy it when, you know, you have a product and the product itself acknowledges where it came from, you know, where its origins lies. And this looks at the deck in Dungeons and Dragons through Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon and Dungeon magazines, 3rd edition, 4th edition, and into 5th edition. Where to go next? What to look at? So it grounds the product in the history of the game. So we've got options. There's essentially Dungeon Master Toolbox, character creation options for different roles, the Celestial Suite, adventure locations, adversaries, and rivals. Just given the thumbnail description at the start for for the reader to get a feel, an idea of what's coming in the rest of the book. I'm going to key and essentially exploring, what the object is, and we've got a guide there to use in the book as well. So it's a deck. It's also not just a deck of many things; it's a deck of many stories because it can be used to create and drive stories. So here's got a guide on how to introduce the deck, use the deck in play, handling the cards, effects for a single card, and advice for doing that. I think that's the way to go. This is good, solid advice and good introduction for the Dungeon Master on how to use it. Discussing the balance and in using the cards, the advantages of using the cards as card spots for quick non-player characters, ideas, filler scenes, that sort of thing, inspiration hand, how to basically physically use basically use it as an inspiration hand or a journey spread, which is essentially a format of which you can lay the cards out. So, for example, top card the challenge, bottom card the reward and ruin. So, using the idea of how do you want the idea of essentially how you lay out your tarot cards in other situations. Here's how you use the deck of many things in a similar idea. Again, also encounter deck. And here you've got a list of the cards by encounter and location. We go on to puzzle, using it as sort of like something to as part of a puzzle. So we've got going on, why use riddles, where to use riddles, how to write them. A guide on using the deck in conjunction with traps. And we've got examples of traps there keyed into the different cards. Gem. Move on to gems are essentially, the gem card bequeaths immense wealth. And what they're actually doing is essentially drawing, literally keying content in the book to particular cards. So, gem is magical items. Again, that's really making the book of many things as thematic as the deck itself. So numerous items by card, and so on. Move on to Rogue, Magic card decks, Rogue Gallery. Here is a Destiny. That's there for an ambitious assassin, enchanting infiltrator, otherworldly corruptor, NPCs, and sort of models you can kind of build your characters on if you want to. Veiled presence there. Before we move on to Sage, and here we're dealing with knowledge, and like theme. And actually sort of like using the deck for knowledge and to gain insight. And fates is essentially we're going to look at generally random aspects. So we've got here is destiny and treasures, various effects of the cards. Move on to night. So a character who draws the knight card from the deck of many things gains the service of a loyal warrior, and builds on that idea. So, what happens when you draw the knight card? With a knight, it's a narrative device, using it as an ally, using a deck defender. Then we move on to sun, and basically the Solar Bastion, benevolent organisation that protects the multiverse from the chaos wrought by the deck of many things. So that's a lovely idea. Essentially, you've got this deck card thing. It's creating chaos, and then you have an organisation dedicated to sort of like working against its effects. So, trying to get the pages apart. So here we have a Solar Bastion Knight in service of the Order. We have a location of the Solar Bastion itself, where its headquarters. And then chapter Moon details the Moonstalkers, a thieves guild of evil lycanthropes. So again, we've got another organisation, but this time one dedicated to supporting the deck and obtaining it. The comment, the end is near, of course, foretells the end, the coming of change. And again, we've got another organisation. Basically, this is tied into an apocalyptic set with roles such as the aspirant of the comet, and Hierophant and Initiate of the Comet. So in particular roles within the cult, ready NPCs to bring into play, details of the cult hideout, and again using that kind of classic Dungeons and Dragons cartography that's been used throughout 5th edition, table of omens of apocalypse. Basically bring it closer as the deck has a greater and greater effect. And then we've got the star. This is essentially the sky of many things, and looking at it from a sort of like an astrological point of view. With so the deck of sort of many things tied into observatories around your location. Jester, of course, falls, and so on. Including we've got like a Sealy Market. And here we've got stats of that NPC that's appeared throughout the throughout the book, which is Odalwyn. So he has it's sort of like he's there with his own deck of many things. He's a small fair goblinoid chaotic neutral. And then we have Pasradine, a gargantuan dragon, moonstone, lawful neutral, and this like drawing basic caravan behind it. That's a really fantastic image. And then we move on to throne and the power of the represented by the deck of many things, and location of a particular throne location. Ruin. And we've got the history of Gardmore Abbey, which would really come into play, I think, with the box set for 4th edition, I believe. We've got the ruins of Gardmore Abbey there, brought into 5th edition from that box set. Abbey locations, and that, basically, in comparison to the box set, this is really just a quick overview with so the various monsters. And you've got like a smaller map, but I'm sure you could have a complete campaign focused on it. Donjon takes you below ground. In almost sort of like science fiction mechanical area, so inside the sphere of the donjon. Moving on, and then into the emptiness of the void. And there even literally is a house of cards. In the skull basically the Grimmer Harrow, doomed undead that seek the deck of many things so they can destroy it and end their own existence. So you've got multiple factions interested in the deck of many things, and they can all be brought into play. You know, campaign around them, and here we've got sort of various monsters, NPCs. So, Grim Champion of Desolation, Grim Champion of Pestilence, almost like the four horsemen of the apocalypse of the deck of many things, if you will. And then Flames, dealing with 3 unique fiends, tied into the deck of many things. Stats there for Maxilix. We've got a guide to using each of these characters in game. So, you know, that's Maxilix the Shackler. And then we'll move on to the next section. Talons. Basic monsters inspired by the deck of many things. So you've got stat blocks by challenge rating at the start, and then we've got the sort of essentially a bestiary of creatures. Fate Hags, Harrow Hawks. All creatures that will have essentially appeared earlier in the campaign. Hierophant Medusa, interesting. Living Portent, Riffler. You see the card riffling is Ruin Spiders, Talon Beasts. Great artwork, really cleanly presented. And then the one card here that represents the individual Uriel, and her role and position in the deck of many things. So you've got full stats for her at the end, and then we come to essentially her conclusion. She's the one who's been writing this book and adding the commentary. And then that's not all, because that's just the book. I mean, basically, you have an inner sleeve. So let's just take that sleeve off. I'll put that on there. And then we've got this box. Let's see if I can. Oh, it opens. There we go. It's that way actually. So we open up, and we have that. And then I will pull, and again you've got that character again appearing with the cards. You're literally almost as if you are sat there in front of him, and the cards are there in front of you. Again, lovely little touch. I do like the design on this is fantastic. So we pull on that ribbon. And first off, we have the deck of many things card reference guide. So this is going to be fun to show off because it's landscape. It's portrait, not landscape. It's landscape, not portrait. And then it's discussing the deck of many things, how to customize your deck. Card meanings, how to interpret them, uses in divination within the game. So you've got discussions sort of like divinationary spreads there. I mean, like your tarot cards. So, and then we've got discussion of the actual adventure spreads, and then you're doing encounter spreads, and this is essentially sort of like we've already discussed it in the main book, in the other book. And now we're putting it sort of like, here's an example, here's how you do it, so on. Even down to we even have a variant, a dungeon spread set for your cards. And then we move on to reading the cards, and then we move on. So here we go. So this is in addition to the different cards So basically, this is in addition to the cards themselves in the box set. Sorry, I've got things falling down there. You can see how good the artwork is. And there's the comet figured earlier. Dragon, door, all elements, you know, you essentially, you can pull out of the deck during play or prior to play. And there's this gem section for your treasure. So that's another fantastic book included in the set. So essentially, you draw a card, you can easily look up its reference, the page, get some idea what it's like, and use that essentially, you know, upright. And then in each section here, you've got a guide here, sort of like upright meaning, reversed meaning, you know, and how it relates to what's going on in play. So that's the card. That's the card reference book. The Deck of Many Things card reference guide. And then underneath that, what you've got is 4 sets of cards. Now I'm only going to pull one of these out to show you, because otherwise I could just sit here going, here's a card, here's a card, here's a card. It's not just that would take ages and would be unfair on you and me. So let's see if I can get these. So these are oversized cards. They are, so that's basically, there are oversized tarot cards, and they are gold edged. I'll just separate one out, so they're quite sturdy like that, and then they are simple. They simply have just the text. They're the name of the card and the image, which you'll have seen in that book, the Deck of Many Things, the card reference guide already. I'm just going to show you those from this set, this bundle. There are 3. So we've got Balance, the aforementioned Comet, which we've already seen the artwork for. Donjon, Iredale, the only individual in the deck. The Fates, Flames, so you can tie in the Fiends there. The Fool, here they're dealing with the She and the Seelie court. Gems for treasure. Key, the Knight for obtaining the services of a knight. Moon for the evil Thieves Guild of Lycanthropes. Puzzles. Ruins, it's Sage for advice and knowledge. Sun, Talons, Throne, and Void. So that's just one of the 3 sort of packs of cards that make up the full deck. They're just packaged into 3 for easy storage, and attractive storage, because once you've got them open, so here we go with that's again similar, and again similar. So that then is everything in this very attractive deck of many things. Given sort of like a treatment like it's kind of never had before by any publisher for Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, let's see if I can get it into this box. always the fun part. And then that goes in on, slides in on top like that. And that slides across like that. So that is the deck of many things, published by Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And honestly, given, you know, you've got some monsters in there, but there's relatively few stats and so on in there that you're not going to be able to transpose to the game of your choice. Obviously, if you're going for the old school Renaissance, the stats are more complex, but you can simplify them. If you're transferring to another role playing game, well, that's your, you know, that gives you your own effort. And then, of course, you've got your, you know, you're transferring costs to perhaps whatever Dungeons and Dragons 1 or 6th edition, whatever it's going to be. Again, I think it's going to be easily transferable if you want to use this. And here, this essentially is a big tool to help you build campaigns, add a sense of randomness and magic into your world, more than you may already have got, and really make something of sort of essentially of the iconic magical item or artifact from Dungeons and Dragons, all the way back to you know, the founding of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, sort of 1980, 1979. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. If you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here typically with a box or package for which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.